guys? Tomboy61, and today we have Azure Lane Wave 3 in the shop and in the game. So we're going to go over all the content, the recommendations for the commanders, go over the commander skills, go over the new ships, show off the new camos, just basically do a whole blowout of all of the brand new content. So first things first, what you see up on your screen and what will be providing the majority of the background gameplay for this time is the all new, well, not really all new, but reskinned Cleveland, the Azure Lane Montpelier. She's a Cleveland with some pretty weird changes that I don't know if they really make it worth it. So Montpelier, it's going to have 1.4 kilometers less range than the Cleveland and a 0.8 second longer reload. And for all of that, you get 0.4 seconds faster of a rudder shift time. So that's the kind of trade-off. Do I recommend it? Do I recommend you go out and buy spend your money on this? No. Like, it is cool to have it. One of the nice benefits I found is when you play these like side positions out here, because you don't have as much of range, you don't have to watch your sight lines off the flanks as much, right? That's one of the downsides to Cleveland, is you do have a fairly substantial range, and if you island hug in the kind of middle of the map, because of the long range, if you can reach any ship and you fire, that ship can then see you, so your targets are constrained a little bit more, so you don't get spotted as much in weird cross lines and like weird sight lines. That's the benefit to it, and that's me stretching to form a benefit for it. Overall, I would not recommend spending your hard-earned money on Montpelier. Now, let's go ahead and start to go over the rest of the ships. The other brand new ship, or kind of new ship, but it actually is a substantial rework from its base ship, is the new Azure Lane Yukikaze. Azure Lane Yukikaze, I am enjoying this ship so far. It is a good time. They've basically made it a gunboat, and oh boy, do those shells hit like a truck. And especially with the new Azure Lane Yukikaze Commander, when combined together, you could have a potentially really good time. We'll do our own separate video breaking out Azure Lane Yukikaze, but just know, of the two ships, if you're in the market for a brand new ship, I think Azure Lane Yukikaze is there. One note, its torpedoes, like a 2-kilometer detectability range. It is massive. It is absolutely huge. So be prepared for that. The last ship is actually a free ship, and if you go ahead and get it, you can also get one of the commanders for free. So I feel like this brings us over. If you go over into the shop, you'll see that there's a free set of missions. You'll get a free tier 2 premium cruiser, the Aurora, or the Aurora. There's like a V added into the Aurora. You get a set of missions with her. If you go ahead and complete said missions, you'll go ahead and unlock the Avora Commander absolutely free. So I do like that Wargaming is doing that, and I do feel like that brings us nicely into the little section where we're going to talk about the brand new commander. So we have 6 brand new commanders in the game: Litoro, Shokaku, Azuma, Avora, Montpelier, and Yukikaze. And I'm going to go ahead and talk through them and say which ones I like from worst to first. So the one that I absolutely don't recommend, or my number 6, I guess you could call, is going to be Azure Lane Shokaku. One, she's an aircraft commander. I don't think she offers anything over like Iona if you're going for a premium commander or even the base one. The unique base trait is going to increase the aircraft carrier's maximum speed, which is not something you like. I would want to add that, and I may add that as an inspiration, but it's not a very high up there inspiration. And then her unique skill is going to be Crane's Protection, which is going to decrease the detectability of dive bombers and torpedo bombers. So it's going to decrease the detectability of your planes, which is nice. But when the Japanese planes are already kind of papery, I think the increase to concealment doesn't really help the what ails the Japanese plane. So I don't recommend her. My number 5 one is going to be Azure Lane Azuma. I think her base trait doesn't do enough. Her base trait is going to increase the cruiser's maximum speed and increase incoming fire dispersion, which are both nice things, but then the rest of her is just kind of meh. Her unique skill is going to be special gunnery training. It's going to increase AP shell damage by 7%, increase shell penetration multipliers by 5%, but it's going to decrease the shell grouping of the cruiser, which, meh. Like, I don't think it's all that great. The next one is going to be Azure Lane Avora. She's free. I just think her overall base trait is kind of very basic. It's very you already have basically this layout of commander. The base trait is something that is nice, like being able to decrease shell time. I think you could pair that with, say, a French commander and or anyone who has those shell swap type skills, and be very, very effective on switching shell type. I think that's a nice thing to have. It's going to be a weird thing to be able to use. And her unique skill is Hammering Strikes, which is going to increase AP and HE shell damage at the cost of accuracy once again. So we're seeing very much this kind of trend towards increasing, buffing two skills and decreasing the accuracy of a ship. The number 3, and the one where I would kind of start maybe considering it, is Montpelier. She's essentially a Norman Scott. She's essentially a Norman Scott, but her base trait is going to increase your cruiser's AA range, and I think this is going to be a little more important the further we get into the game and the more carriers get introduced and played. Being able to increase the cruiser's AA coverage is going to be great. I also like that this is going to pair nicely with the class of ship that you're going to play with a Montpelier. We know that you're going to play light cruisers, right? Norm Scott is my light cruiser commander, and light cruisers tend to have very good AA. So this pairs nicely with that build, where it's going to give a nice way to build into AA without having to really change up the skills. And I like this if I'm like playing in a division with another person who's playing CVs. I think Montpelier will be the choice to go. The rest of her skills are a mirror of Norm Scott, with her unique skill increasing the shell grouping of your cruiser's main guns, which is nice because that's what you're kind of giving up with Norm Scott. You're increasing incoming firing dispersion, which is nice, and then you're just taking an increased amount of damage. So that's what you're trading off for, and you would also be pretty much trading that out for punch through. But how often are you using AP when you're using something like the Cleveland? Maybe once you're in close quarters, yes, but then I don't feel like you really need the penetration multiplier. The extra damage is always nice, but the penetration multiplier I don't feel like you need when you're in such close quarters. So Montpelier, I like her. I just think she'll be very situational. It 100% depends on your playstyle. The next commander that I'm going to be using is going to be Azure Lane Yukikaze, coming in at the number 2 spot. And that's because she's just a copy of Kurita, but I like her base trait more. Kurita, you're reducing the engine booster reload time. I don't need that. I really don't need that at all. Her base trait is going to increase your destroyer's average AA damage per second by a significant margin, 14% at 14 by 20. Like, there's a good chunk of damage that you're adding to your destroyer's AA. You get the usual gunboat kind of build out of it, and then in the last tier, you get Evasive Hunter, which is going to increase incoming fire dispersion, which I love. I love incoming fire dispersion buffs, and then you are also going to decrease your ship's detectability after firing from a smoke screen. So all of these things, I like this build. What you're giving up compared to Kurita isn't much, right? You're giving up smoke on the water, which is probably what you would end up running with Kurita, and I think Evasive Hunter is a better skill. And then I also think the base trait, you know, yes, you're going to get your engine boost back 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds quicker with Kurita. I don't think that will change the course of a game, where a 15% damage buff to an aircraft carrier, that's the difference between a plane dropping and not dropping on you. So I think this is a great commander overall, and one that if you play Japanese gunboats, which I know there's not many of you out there, I think Yukikaze is worth the look. And finally, the number 1 in the commander I think is the best of all of those is going to be Azure Lane Littorio. Guys, she's an accuracy commander for Italian battleships. Her base trait is going to reduce repair time of incapacitated modules, as well as duration of fire and flooding on your battleship. Excellent. That's a great skill, and given the propensity of Italian battleships to be in the brawling category, you're going to want to use that. And if you're building for this, you're probably going to run Flammable Cannoneer and Gyrating Drill Bits, which is just going to make you a bigger target and make you catch on fire even more. So having these, excellent. Love it. Beautiful, because that base trait helps with that. And then her unique skill is going to reduce the flooding damage of your battleship and splash damage of any shell type. So beautiful buff right there. I do have to say, though, I feel like with Latoro, Wargaming maybe giving us a free accuracy commander next round. I wouldn't be surprised. This is one of those kind of risk it for the biscuit moments of, if you think Wargaming isn't going to give away a free accuracy commander when they launch when the Italian battleships launch in full, then you may consider picking her up. But if you do think they are, I don't know if Latoro is really worth it. I have a feeling they are going to release one, just because I feel like that's the right thing to do. But this is your decision. I have no idea either way, but that's just something to kind of think of. But I do like the fact that we do finally have an accuracy commander for the Italian battleships. So those are the commanders. Once again, the ones that I kind of like and recommend are Latoro, Yukikaze, and Montpelier. And the ones that I'm kind of not so hot on are Avora, Azuma, and Shokaku. Now, as far as buying or purchasing them, they're all able to be picked up individually for 5,000 doubloons each, or you can purchase them in a random drop loot box that guarantees one of them without any duplicates. So you can pick one up for 2,500, or you can pick 6 up for 13,500 doubloons. The last thing we need to just kind of talk about is the Azure Lane skin. So we got the 2 new ships, but we also have some new camos. So the Roma, Azuma, and Shokaku all have new skins. I think the Roma looks the best. I don't have Shokaku to show it off there, but there's a nice photo of it in the shop. And Azuma with the Sakura leaves looks pretty cool, but I think Roma will definitely be keeping that new paint job. So guys, that's all of the Azure Lane content. What are you guys excited about? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.